Hey everybody, Ash here with Gents. Today I'm coming at you guys with my 2019 wish list video. A lot of people have been doing these, so I figured why not jump on that train. So this is just going to be a list of some fragrances that I would really like to either own or at least sample through the next year. Some stuff that I've really had my eyes on. Since this is a wish list, most of this is not going to be like cheaper designers or things like that. This is stuff that's a little bit of a bigger plunge as far as purchases go. And that's why it's on my wish list and not something I own already. So let's jump into this. This is my wish list for 2019 in no particular order. Alright guys, so I'm starting this off with an oud trifecta. If I have it my way, I would like to try out some real deal ouds this coming year. Because I do have a lot of oud fragrances, both niche and designer, but I don't have any that are, hardcore oud fragrances. The ones that the real oud connoisseurs enjoy. Now the first one is kind of a leather fragrance, but it's oud too. It's Insar Oud EO number 1. Let me hit you with the prices on this one really quickly. The Pure Parfum concentration, 50 milliliter size, $790. Or if you want to save a little money, you can get the Eau de Parfum, also 50 milliliter size. That one runs you $395. This fragrance though has multiple types of real actual oud in the fragrance, not the synthetic oud that gets passed off in a lot of designer fragrances. It also has multiple sandalwoods, multiple roses, tobacco, vanilla, and the entire composition, according to Insar Oud, is infused into a high concentration genuine raw tincture of ambergris instead of ethanol. Which, in case you're unaware, ambergris is very, very, very expensive. Pete from Fragrance View actually did an almost 20-minute review on this fragrance, so if you're more interested in this one, honestly, just go watch that. I'll link Fragrance View in the description. Insar Oud is known for having some of the absolute best oud fragrances / atars on the planet. And those oud atars are very, very expensive. You can go on Insar Oud's website and check out his entire process. He's a lot of information on there. It's not a surprise that his stuff is very expensive. Quality basically just unmatched. Now Insar Oud EO number 1 is technically more of a leather fragrance. Oud and leather fragrance, I guess you would say. I've never actually smelled it. I'm just going off of what I've read. But it is one of the oud trifecta that I would like to try this next year. Sounds freaking awesome. I'll just have to figure out a way to pony up that cash. All right, next up, Bortnikoff Oud Maximus. So this one, a little bit more affordable. It's $350 for a 50 milliliter extrait de parfum size and concentration. This is another fragrance that has multiple ouds and multiple roses used. I actually heard about Bortnikoff through Insar Oud's YouTube channel, so this one kind of links in with the last one. Oud Maximus, from what I hear, is an evolving oud fragrance, changes from the opening through to the mid to the dry down, and is paired up with high quality roses and some citrus tartness. This one is on Lucky Scent, so if nothing else, absolute, worst comes to worst, I can get a 0.7 milliliter sample from Lucky Scent and at least say that I smelled it. And that fragrance, Oud Maximus, kind of leads into the next one, which is from Areej Dore. The Areej Dore fragrance that I would really like to be able to sample or own is Oud Luwak, assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly. This one runs $195 for a 30 milliliter size extrait de parfum concentration. This has Indonesian oud, coffee, benzoin, and oud smoke infusion as some of the notes. And I have tried a few Areej Dore fragrances in the past, and I was really, really impressed with the quality. This fragrance apparently has a really strong smoky feel to it, and a lot of you are going to be aware that I really enjoy fragrances that do have kind of a smoky nuance. It also has high quality oud, a berry-like sweetness, and a really strong coffee note from what I've read. So this is another one that's high up on my list to at least sample by the end of the year for sure. I'll at least do that much. I don't own any Areej Dore fragrances yet, and I should probably fix that. Next up on my wish list, Carolina Herrera fragrance, CH Insignia for men. This fragrance includes notes of oud, rose, and saffron, which honestly is a fairly basic makeup at this point. Oud, rose, and saffron get put together literally all the time. This one right now in the US, nearly impossible for me to find. I found it online, but it's pretty much all in the Middle East. So nothing online for sale for this one yet. I've seen a couple of bottles pop up on eBay, and as fast as they pop up there, they're gone. According to Carolina Herrera, this is a uniquely modern signature embracing the mystery of the Middle East. CH Insignia Men is a luxurious limited edition fragrance for the Carolina Herrera man. So even though it does have that kind of basic pairing of oud saffron and rose, I've read some good things about this. People say that it smells nice. Where it's a limited edition, I'd really like to get my hands on it. But I don't want to overpay too much to get that in, because I have a sneaking suspicion that it won't live up to the hype that I have for it in my mind. Either way though, it's on my wish list. Next up, an oldie, but possibly goodie? I'm not sure. It's a Dior Fahrenheit Summer. They also had Summer 06 and Summer 07 for Dior Fahrenheit. So apparently Dior was trying to make Fahrenheit Summers a thing, and it didn't work out. It's not a thing. Technically, they did make Aqua Fahrenheit and then Fahrenheit Cologne, and to a lesser extent Fahrenheit 32, so there are Dior Fahrenheits that you can wear in spring and summer, but there are no longer Dior Fahrenheit Summer editions. I guess Dior was going to try to make this like their Calvin Klein CK1 Summer, or their Issey Miyake Low DC Summer. You know, have a new Dior Fahrenheit Summer edition every year. This has notes of violet, freesia, sandalwood, cedar, and orange. From what I've read, it's basically just a stripped down version of Dior Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette, so toned down in terms of that violet note that everybody knows so well, and then citrus added in to make it more palatable for higher heat. Usually it goes for about $120 for a 100 milliliter size bottle. Sometimes on eBay a good deal will pop up, so that would be when I want to scoop this up. If I can get this for $60, then I'm in, I'll buy it. So that's one I'm going to be on the lookout for and eventually pick up. Next up is Memo Moroccan Leather. So a lot of you are going to be aware, but I'm a big fan of the Memo Queer Nomads line, their nomadic leather line. I've got a lot of them back here. I've got African leather, Irish leather, Italian leather, and Russian leather. I don't have French yet though. Moroccan leather is the newest, so obviously that's gonna go right on my list of things that I want. It has galbanum, leather, iris, cypress, and vetiver as some of the notes. Online I've read some people say it's similar to Irish leather. They're saying it's basically a more feminine version of Irish leather with a really strong iris note. That being said, I want to smell it for myself. I want to add it to the collection, so it's on the list. Forgot to show off that sick shirt. It actually came in the mail today, obviously fresh off the printing press, and it does not smell good. It smells like chemicals and tacos mixed together. And not good tacos either, like frozen tacos that you heated up in the microwave. All right, whatever. Next fragrance, Amouage Imitation Man. Orris Rose Leather Violet, some of the notes, and this one has a great looking bottle, at least from what I've seen online. Apparently this one is very heavy on orris and florals, but I've not smelled it myself yet. And some people mention that it has a very prominent leather note. Other people say they can't pick up leather at all. As usual, Amouage fragrances can be very divisive, especially their more modern releases. Some people really don't like them, other people love them. With Amouage, more often than not, I've really enjoyed the fragrances. With the cool bottle and the no breakdown and everything, it goes straight onto my wish list. Lucky for me, this one has popped up at discounters recently for a good price, so I should be able to pick this up at some point this year without spending too much money. Next up is a designer fragrance that has not technically been released yet. Paco Rabanne Pure XS Night. Just talked about this fragrance in my most recent This Week in Fragrance video. Has salted caramel, ginseng, and cacao as some of the notes. I really enjoy Pure XS. I know that that one is also a little bit divisive. Some people don't like it at all. Other people do like it a lot. I'm one of the ones that like Pure XS a lot. As far as designer fragrances go, to me, it's one of the more unique releases over the last couple of years. Even though Pure XS has not come out and nobody's smelled it, I'm gonna buy it as soon as I can, just based off of how much I liked Pure XS. That's why it makes the list. Next up is a Bond number 9, a discontinued Bond number 9. It is Andy Warhol Vase Edition. Plum Vanilla Oud, some of the notes here. This one really sucks for me because I had multiple opportunities to buy a bottle of this fragrance and I passed every single time. I had a 10 milliliter decant. I just worked through that. I actually got multiple compliments while wearing Andy Warhol Face Edition, and now I am out of the decant and I have no bottle. And the price that it goes for now is just LOL prices. Like, I'm never gonna pay that much, sorry. People are asking $500 plus for a bottle at this point. And just a couple years ago, this fragrance was popping up on Facebook groups, not all the time, but every once in a while, and for decent prices too. At this point though, it's just reached peak ridiculous levels for the price. So I don't foresee this one happening. Unless somebody just wants to make me a deal or something, or I catch it as soon as it's posted on a Facebook group and it's for a decent price, then maybe I'll be able to pick it up, but otherwise, I'm pretty much completely out of luck with this one. At this point, a 10 milliliter decant of Warhol Face Edition will set you back more than the cost of basically any designer fragrance you could want to buy. I love the fragrance, but not for half $1,000. It does get compared to Tom Ford's Plum Japonais, which I own, so if nothing else, at least I have that. But yeah, it's on the wish list, Bond Warhol Face Edition. It'll probably be there until the end of time because I doubt I'm ever gonna get it, but it's there. Next up is an Olfactive Studio. I actually really like Olfactive Studio fragrances. I like their jam. I like their style. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So Olfactive Studio, in case you're unaware, pairs up a picture, a professional photograph, with a fragrance. So the fragrance and the picture kind of work together. You know, they kind of convey the same feelings. They're supposed to work off one another. I've actually reached out to Olfactive Studio and asked them if they're going to be at Essence this year so I could maybe cover them, but they never responded. So apparently they're not fans. Olfactive Studio, how are you gonna do me like that? Ridiculous. Anyway, they have a new fragrance called Flashback in New York, and I would like to check it out. It has notes of papyrus, leather, vetiver, violet, and birch, and from what I've read online, apparently it's very similar to Le Labo Santal 33, which does make a lot of sense because Santal 33 is the unofficial fragrance of New York City, I should say. You can smell Santal 33 all over New York City, just super popular. It's like the Dior Sauvage of New York or something. So the fact that Flashback in New York from Olfactive Studio smells similar to Santal 33 makes sense. This one's more on the list just because I like Olfactive Studio. I really dig the portraits mixed with the fragrances for whatever reason. I don't actually like Santal 33 much, but I like Olfactive Studio, so that's why it's on the list. Setting myself up for disappointment, I guess. We're in the final two. Next up is Kinski, which is technically by Eccentric Molecules, but if you look it up on Fragrantica, it's Kinski. This has notes of cannabis, castoreum, vetiver, and juniper. And this is based off of the German actor Klaus Kinski, who apparently was just a complete psychopathic douchebag. But I'm not going to be talking about Klaus Kinski, I'll just talk about the fragrance. Apparently this is a dark, woodsy fragrance with a strong cannabis note. More than anything, I'm attracted to this fragrance just because it seems very unique. It seems like something interesting. Something that's actually a little bit outside the norm. And that's why I would like to smell it, if nothing else. And really, it's not all that expensive, which makes sense because Eccentric Molecule fragrances aren't all that expensive, at least as far as niche goes. So this one makes my list. I've actually wanted it for probably 3 years or so now. So it's one that I would like to finally own or at least sample. That way I can move it off the list. Just hasn't worked out that I've been able to buy it or sample it. Last one on the list, Fort & Manle 40 Thieves. So I talked about Fort & Manle a lot lately. I did an Amber Absolutely review. I put them on my niche list and also on my best pickups of last year list. This is their newest release and I've been really impressed with their fragrances. Really like them. I love the metal plaque on the front of them. Just the presentation, the quality, everything does it for me. So 40 Thieves makes the list. It has incense, honey, resin, petitgrain, and papyrus as some of the notes. And I know that this is completely random, but one of the reasons that I like the name 40 Thieves, I used to play a game called King's Quest V, back when I was much younger. And there's a scene in that game with the 40 Thieves as you go through the desert and try not to die of thirst. I had to play through that part of the game probably 75 times when I was younger, because I was younger and stupid. Couldn't figure it out. But that always stuck with me. So the 40 Thieves to me almost is more King's Quest than it is the traditional 40 Thieves story. So yeah, that made sense to like 1% of you. Either way, incense, resins, and honey with Fort & Manle's track record, at least in my opinion, yeah, sign me up for that. All right guys, that does it. It's my wish list for 2019. Hopefully, I can make at least half of these come true. Let me know in the comments some of the fragrances that you really want to either sample or own this coming year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.